Hello, people that know how's you doing? Just give me a second. Excuse me. I just needed a drop of tea before I started speaking because my throat was going to give up there. So today I'm talking about speed cameras. Basically what you see in the roads, I suppose, doing nothing. You often see them on the roads, places where generally people have died in the road, sadly. They are, usually are. And I just want to say how bad of a system they have. Because they're there during the day, right? They're there during the day. They're in the middle of the open. Like, if you see these camera fans, they're not allowed to hide behind shocks or ditches or anything like that. Which I don't see the point. If you, like, the people who are, driving 120 miles an hour on a side road, or on a semi-side road, or you could use that word. Not a main road, not a complete main road. But, I know this person. This is an old person, 70. She's nearly 78 this year. And she was going on the N3, Cavan, the road to go to Dublin, the N3. She was near Cavan Town, near Breffni College in Cavan Town. And she was coming there, she was coming, right? She was coming down the road, right? I think the speed limit 60 something, I can't remember exactly what the speed limit was. But she was 2 or 3 kilometers over the speed limit. That's all, 2 or 3. Right, this is a joke. This is a joke. How they just get these people who are going a tiny bit. Like, that's not even comparable to some people that have absolutely teared on the motorway. Like, I can't even tell you, some cars I see nearly go over the 300 mark sometimes, maybe even 200 mark. And you don't even see them go past you. You see the car just flies by you. And they're the people the camera fans should be. And they're the people who won't get caught. And the people who just go over it by one. This person only went over by 2. And they give them a fine of €300. It was actually a joke. It was a joke. And then the boy wasters that are flying up and down the roads, people who are just don't care about people on the road. They don't care for themselves. They don't care for other people on the road. They don't care for people's lives. They don't care for their lives. They don't catch them. They really don't catch them. The speed cameras don't catch them. Like, that's the question I have. Why did they not catch them? I'm sure the people who they get is just old people who go 1 mile over the speed limit or 1 kilometer over the speed limit, or an only person who just is in in an emergency situation, and they have to go fast. They have to go to the hospital. Let's just say that. And they probably find them quicker than they find the people going 700 miles an hour down the motorway. Like, it's not a joke. I'm not joking when I say some cars do go very fast, because you see them, and then you see them when I seen one day when I was coming down the motorway. I was on a bus, and there was this boy racer. He was overtaking all the cars. Like, he literally was overtaking. He was literally on the other side of the road. He was literally going into oncoming traffic, and there was a camera van up the road, right, where he was going, where we were going too. He was obviously going way over the speed limit, because we were in an urban town. I suppose this was in County Lockford, and we were in a very compact town. I suppose you could say, a very busy town, and him to just go that way and to force cars onto the sidewalk. That's what he was doing. And wouldn't you notice the camera van right around the corner? And wouldn't you know he's a good citizen then. He just goes in front of the bus and he's a good citizen, going past the camera fan, doing all the right things, very nice. And it wasn't a thing, Bobby, he probably didn't even get a fine in the post for being, this was dangerous driving. Completely dangerous driving. Like, I wouldn't even give them a fine. I would have put him in the guard's car and would have said adios to him. Because literally, what he was doing that day, he was a danger to himself and he was a danger to others. He was a danger to others on the footpath. Because he was literally a danger, because he was forcing other cars onto the footpath, which was a joke. And then he decided, as soon as he seen the camera van, you know what, I'm going to go and pull in front of the bus. And I'm going to act like a good person, a good citizen of Ireland. And then as soon as the camera van was out of view, out of range, just about a few minutes out of range, right, he absolutely tore down the road. And I mean, he absolutely tore it. He'd actually tore down the road completely at the 700, probably 250 miles an hour. Like, he absolutely went ballistic. He just went down the road so fast. Like, that's the story I have. And I bet you any money he didn't get fined a cent. He probably didn't even know he was doing this. That's how stupid this camera system is. Now, I understand it's understandable that they can't hide behind hedges or shocks or anything like that. But I'm saying to the government, don't annoy the poor old people who are going 1 kilometre over the speed limit, 1 mile over the speed limit. Right? You know who you get? You get the people who are a danger to the road, to the road safety. I wouldn't mind if they were behind a shock. Right? I say that straight. I wouldn't mind if they were behind a shock. If it was going to reduce these boy racers and people who just don't care for the people on the road and just don't care for people's safety and don't care for themselves. I wouldn't mind if we stopped road deaths. I wouldn't mind if they had it behind a shock. But I would mind one thing if there was one person going over 1 kilometre, like anything over a kilometre or 2 or 3 kilometres. That shouldn't be anything. They should just pass on what he done it. Because if you're going 3 kilometres over the speed limit, that's not much. But anything over 5 kilometres over the speed limit, that's obviously, in my books, it should be a penalty of some sort. But if you're going a tiny bit over the speed limit, anything under 5, as I say, anything over 5 over the speed limit, that's the way I look at it. If you go with nearly, say if it was a 60-mile zone and you went 120, like completely, that's unacceptable. Maybe 63 at most, 65 at most miles per hour, but not 120 miles per hour. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and I really hope that some states will update the camera system, because it is a joke. Like I say, that barely even get anybody who is the main culprits who do this. I say they get old people who are just going 1 kilometre of speed, like it's a joke. And I wouldn't blame that woman for going to legal advice. I wouldn't blame her. Like, she's gone for legal advice. I wouldn't blame her. I actually wouldn't blame her. Because going 2 kilometres over the speed limit, and I know old pensioner who's been living in Ireland for the last 78 years, I wouldn't blame her. Then the state takes advantage of her and they won't get the people who are doing it. That's the case in everything. They just want to pick on the people who are weak, who they think are weak and can't defend themselves. But, maybe the government might see a bit of sense, because she did go to a few TDs about it. And maybe they might see a bit of sense that this woman is not a danger to society, as they would probably classify her as. Going 2 miles over the speed limit, like, good Jesus Christ, is not a crime of the state. It's not an enemy. She's not an enemy of the state. And I hope she doesn't mind me using that. I don't mean any offence to the woman. She's obviously was in a very bad situation. I'm just using that as an example. I hope she doesn't mind me using it. I won't tell her that I used the example there, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind, because I'm sure she want people to hear about it. And yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and bye. Let me know what you think. Were you ever caught wrongly by the speed camera? Because I know once or twice people have been accused wrongly. And that's another thing. Somebody one time was going in the 60-kilometre zone, and they said they were going under the speed limit, and they were fine for going under the speed limit, 50 kilometres, and they were supposed to do 60. Like, that's a joke. Like, you're going slow, you're not at risk of killing anybody. Like, I don't get that bit. Like, it's only 10 kilometres under the speed limit. What they want them to do, go over to get 60, to try and stay at 60. It's very hard to stay at 60 without going over 60 a bit. Anyway, thank you for watching, subscribe for more, and bye.